Hello again from Central Virginia, and today I am going to plant some eggplant and replant some peppers. It is now the middle of February, and I like to plant my eggplants now because I find that they take just a little bit longer to get to the point where they should be transplanted out, which I do in May, early May, about May 1st. So I really want to get a good jump on it. It's going to take these about a week to 10 days, maybe even 2 weeks to germinate and get going. And then they can grow kind of slowly at first. So even though they're in the same family as tomatoes, I plant my eggplants now. You might remember that I planted my peppers at the beginning of February. It's easy to remember. Peppers beginning of February, eggplant middle of the February, and then tomatoes later in mid-March. So which eggplants am I going to plant? Ooh, some of my faves. One of the tried and true that everybody loves are the Black Beauty eggplants. Those are the ones, the traditional large eggplants, elongated and just beautiful. And they're great for stuffing. They're great for baba ganoush and all sorts of things like that. One of my very favorites is the Puntong Long, and that is a Japanese style eggplant, or Asian eggplant. I love it. I think it's got great flavor. I use it for all sorts of things. I grill them, I roast them and cut them up and freeze them to use in spaghettis and sauces later in the year. Just a great all-round, really good tasting eggplant, and they grow well for me here. I also plant little fingers. Now, the thing about little fingers is they are a small eggplant. And so I learned this the hard way. Grow more than one plant because they're not going to have more than one or two ready on a plant each time you go to harvest them. So if you're trying to feed, a family of four, or have 6 or 8 people over for dinner, and you go to get a couple eggplants, well, you're only going to get small ones here. So do plant more than one plant. I actually plant 4. We are a family of, in the summer, 3 to 4 people, and I'll often have 6 people here for dinner on any given night. So that's what I learned the hard way. The first year I only planted one of these, and I was like, okay, I got an eggplant. One little tiny eggplant. But this way I am always assured of getting plenty of eggplant. Now for me, growing eggplant works pretty well. Although last year you might remember that I had some eggplant capers in my garden. My plants grew well. I transplanted them and the voles promptly ate them. That was not great. I planted some more and I didn't cover them because I was going away for a weekend. And it was early in the season, so I thought I was going to be free of flea beetles. Nope, they came right in, and in that weekend, they mowed down my little seedlings. So I planted them again, more voles got them, and so what I ended up doing was I ended up putting them in 20-gallon grow bags, and that worked well. It works well for a couple of reasons. It's easier to control the flea beetles. It's also easier to control blister beetles. If you're unlucky like I am and you get blister beetles, you don't want to get blister beetles. They're blister beetles that if on touch, they will literally give you a very painful blister, and they love eggplant. So I found that growing them higher in containers actually helped prevent or mitigate the blister beetle problem that I had. All right, so those are my 3 kinds of eggplants that I'm going to plant. The other thing I'm going to plant today are a couple of hot chili peppers that did not germinate in my first go around. I think it's because the seeds are older. They might still. I had a couple of late germinations happen just today in a couple of my plants, but it's getting late in the season. Chili peppers take a long time. And so I really like to give them that full 2 month, February, March, and April of growth before we actually get them out. They take a while to germinate and they grow very slowly. So the ones that I'm replanting today are a jalapeno called the Yelloro jalapeno. It's a yellow jalapeno and it's very good. And my very favorites, I was bummed when it didn't germinate, the ají chinchín amarillo peppers. These are Peruvian peppers. And this has been a prolific producer for me. And the peppers are just so, so, so good. So I'm really hoping that I can get some of those going today. So let's go ahead. I'll show you how I'm going to plant these. You can see in the background my sweet potatoes. They've not yet sprouted, but I put them in the daytime in this sunny window because it's a south-facing window and it's very warm. When the sun goes behind the house, I will put them on a heat mat. That's another thing. All right, let's go ahead and get these things planted. As always, I pre-label my containers. So here's the Black Beauty. I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of seed starts in each with the hopes of getting one. These were from 2023, so they're not really that old seeds. Maybe I'll put 3 seeds in each just for good measure. If I get 9 plants, well, I'll thin them out. They won't stay in these containers either. I'm just trying to save a little bit of space. This is the time when I'm really having quite a lot going on with my seed starting station. And so I'm just trying to save a little bit of space by consolidating and starting in a little bit smaller containers. Cover them over. Plants like warm soil, warm, moist soil. And so one of the things I've done is to let this sit out here in the sun this afternoon just to warm up these starting trays just a little bit. Here's the puntung long. Again, you plant them about 1/4 inch deep. These definitely have to go on the heat mat to get germinated. I really love this particular type of eggplant. Again, move any kind of big hard sticks that are in your seed starting mix. Now let's go to the little fingers. I love these eggplants so very much. These are supposed to germinate in 7 days to 14 days. I'm doing this tray of 6 seedlings in hopes of getting 4 good plants out of this. Now I'm just going to pepper, these 2 cells with these pepper seeds and just see. Let's make sure I've got the ají chinchín amarillo. I love these peppers. Please germinate. You know, when you look at pepper seeds and you look at eggplant seeds and everything, they all look so similar. I'm just going to put a whole bunch in here. If I get 2 to germinate, I'll be happy. And one chili pepper plant produces an awful lot of chilies. And for me, this pepper plant, the ají chinchín amarillo, produced until it got cool in November. It was astonishing. Okay, these are the Yaloro jalapenos. Again, I'm just going to put a whole bunch in here in the hopes of getting something. Again, these are older seeds. You never know with older seeds, but you might as well give them a go and see if they work. Sometimes they do. You know, my leek seeds that everybody says you can't plant leek seeds that are a year old. Well, I had fantastic germination with my leeks. So you just don't know. Now let's go ahead and put some water on these. I don't want to over flood it, but I'm just putting a little bit down. If I had a mister, that would be better. This seed starting mix is a little bit moist already, but you want to add some in. Now the one thing about using a heat mat for your seedlings is that the soil will dry out quickly, so you have to monitor it. You don't want your soil soggy, but you definitely want it to be moist. Let it dry out between waterings, but do check them. As your plants grow on a heat mat and get bigger, they're going to use up the water faster, obviously. So just kind of monitor it and keep a little close watch on them. So what you're going to do is put these on the heat mat, and you're going to put them about this far from your grow lights. That's really close. And what you want to do is have that, when those little seedlings first pop up, get them hit with a big blast of light, and that'll help them grow and not get leggy. As they grow, you can increase the amount of space between the seedling and the light. So I'll let you know how all these grow. Keep your fingers crossed about these spicy peppers because I really would like them to grow. Take care. Bye. Hey, Otis, want to go for a walk? I think Otis wants to go for a walk.